Yeah, it's got electrolytes.
What are electrolytes? Do you even know?
Apologies make lousy parachutes.
All right, welcome to the Lone Wolf Garage. And as you can see, I have a Yuasa battery sitting here. This is a YTX14L-BS. This is for Sportster models. There are a bunch of other applications for this specific battery, but this is the one that I needed for my Sportster. The battery that I currently have in the bike is an HD OEM battery. I think it's like my third or fourth battery that I've had in the bike over the 11 years I've had it. It's a good battery. It's lasted for a few years now. I think it's about 4 years old, but it's starting to show signs of not holding the proper amount of charge to turn Michelle over. It's left me having to jump the bike using my portable jumper, which I'm not really a fan of, but I bought it last year because I started noticing some lacking in the battery that's in the bike. Changing out batteries is an inevitable problem we're going to have to deal with having a motorcycle. Having any vehicle, you're going to have to change a battery at some point. They don't last forever. But this specific model, you actually have to add the electrolytes to the battery.
Brondo's got what plants crave. It's got electrolytes.
Which means you have to actually do a little bit of work. You can't just take it off the shelf, bring it home, toss it in the bike, bam, all done. No, you've got to actually fill it. So what we're going to do is we're going to unbox and we're going to look at the instructions, which are stupid simple. So when I went looking for a new battery, I started looking at my options, and buying a new HD battery is about $120, which is understandable for something that's going to last 3 or 4 years, maybe longer, as long as you take care of it, blah, blah, blah. But this time, I didn't want to spend that much money on a battery, so I looked up Yuasa. I found the exact battery that I needed for my bike. What do you do? Open the box. What's in the box? Oh, it's a battery. Yeah. All right, right on top. Might be buried in yours, but these are the instructions. These instructions are very simple, very short, and very sweet. These will come in the box with the battery that you buy. You will have these. Read them. They put these in here for a reason. Just read them. They've got pictures too. Look, simple, easy to follow pictures. We have an electrolyte pack.
It's got electrolytes.
We have our hardware. We have some pop packing material. We have a battery. First thing the directions say to do is peel off the foil. Ooh. That was vacuum sealed. I'm going to put this right here. Not that I'm probably going to need it, but just saving it in case. Next thing to do is take off the plastic from our electrolytes. Actually, there is a complete second set of instructions on how to do this. I'm sure none of you are going to need this video. Honestly, at this point, I think I'm doing this for my own vanity. Next thing we do is we take off the black sealing caps. And save these. And put those right there. Next thing in here, it says, don't puncture these. Don't stab them. No need for this. Just put it away. So this is the front of the battery shown in the picture. I can see the terminals up front. The front of the electrolyte container is also facing forward. I'm going to follow the directions to a T. We're going to place it on top here. And we're going to push down to puncture the seals so that the electrolytes can flow down into the battery. And bubbles coming up. It says, give it a couple taps. I can see the electrolytes flowing down into the battery, which is a good sign. And I am going to let it flow as long as it needs to. It's got a funny little smell to it. Not sure if it's normal or not. A little bit like sulfur, like hell. But I'm going to let that sit for a while, and I'm going to go do something else. Alright, so it's been about an hour and a half. Had dinner, took my time. Homemade pizzas. Awesome. What we need to do now is we need to secure this black strip in place, sealing the battery. You want to push down as evenly as possible. Don't use a hammer. You don't want to hit a battery. So our battery is sealed, and now we need to charge it. That's why this battery tender's been sitting here this whole time. Plugged in, because I'm a dumbass. Instructions specifically on the size of battery, type of battery you have, how long it needs to charge, how many amp hours it needs to be charging, all of that stuff is right here. For this particular battery, you don't want to use anything over 2 amps. So that's a maximum rating charger of 2 amps. The maximum rating for this battery tender one is 1.25 amps. So it'll actually be a little bit lower than what it calls for to actually charge this battery, which is 1.4 amps, 5 to 10 hours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on and leave it overnight. And in the morning I'll come down to a fully charged battery. Red goes on positive, black on negative. And just for shits and giggles, 12.68, 6.9, 12.7, 7.1, 7.2. It is charging. All right, it's the next morning, and it's been about 11 hours, a little longer than it really needed to charge. If we look at our battery tender plus here, we can see we got a solid green light, fully charged. I'm going to check this with my voltmeter real quick just to see how much charge is actually in there. So if you check it with this on there, it's going to read higher, because obviously there's energy going in. So we're going to pop those off. 13.6. Hopefully you guys can see that. It is going to go down because it still has the static charge from when the tender was on there. So we want to let this sit for a little while to let the static charge dissipate to see what it's actually standing at. What we want is something over, 12.5, 12.6-ish. That'll be a good full charge and a good solid battery. If you're getting down to an actual 12 volts, your battery might actually not be holding a charge properly, even though it is a 12 volt battery. So this is 12.6. So I want 12.5, 12.6 standing. As you may have noticed, there's a little bit of a wardrobe change. Put on some actual pants. I went and ran some errands for an hour and let the battery just sit by itself. And we are now at a standing charge of 12.93. It's well above what I need. The battery seems to be doing great, holding its charge. Been sitting here looking at it for about 5 minutes. No change. Hopefully I illustrated how easy it is to fill and charge one of these non-sealed batteries rather than buying one off the shelf that was charged and everything at the factory. The problem with those batteries is that sometimes they've been sitting there for a while. So the pros of this is you know the exact date it was filled. You know exactly how much charge was put into it. You know it wasn't just sitting on a shelf for months, maybe even a year, like the last battery I got from HD. Also, this battery was half the cost of what I would have paid to buy the HD battery. Not everyone needs to save money like that, but it can come in handy. Hopefully seeing me do it makes you feel like you can do it. Alright folks, that's it for this one. Gonna get this in the bike, fire it up, maybe go for a ride. Rock on.